Today's episode of This Week in MMO is brought to you by The Crew. To receive 20% off on your pre-order, just head over to gboffer.com/thecrew.
Game Breaker TV.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to This Week in MMO. It's a Thursday, July 31st, 2014. I'm Gary again. You're watching Game Breaker TV. Can't believe it is the 31st. Man, it's already it's already August. It's insane. All right, coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about WildStar. We're going to talk about Elite Dangerous. We got a little Firefall to talk about, maybe some Firefly, and a little Neverwinter. I know Noob Fridge wants to talk about some Neverwinter probably, so we'll get to that as well. Joining me, as always, the Noob Fridge, Mr. Troy Blackburn. What's up, sir?
What's going on? If you need a reason to hang out with us live when we record these shows, we just got a 20-minute lesson on proper mic placement. For example, this is terrible.
Terrible mic placement, Troy Blackburn. Got scolded. Mic placement. JKK Kennedy's got much better mic placement. Still not optimal. It should not be down underneath your face, but it's better.
Well, it picks up right here.
I don't know why people are so afraid of mic.
Pick up on the end.
Look at mic, mouth, jam mic into mouth.
Chalk right here.
There you go. You sound so much better.
Ooh. But I'm hitting the thing.
But now you have too much. But now you're a little blown out because you got to turn the gain down a little bit. So don't change it right now. But just jam that damn mic. That's mic placement. We're talking about mic placement for like 20 minutes on podcasting and video stuff, and everybody's afraid with video. They're like, I don't want to put the mic out of the shot. Then you got to yell. Why does it sound like shit? I don't know. Why does it sound so bad? I don't know, because the mic is supposed to be 2 inches for your mouth. That's why. All right. Anyway. Next week, he's going to have like some crazy rig, like duct tape from the ceiling or some shit. It's gonna be like, do it from the ceiling? Duct tape it from the ceiling with like a swinging cord, so like you're like the guy at like a boxing match, and like the mic drops down.
Hey. Guys,
there's a wrestler whose name was Mr. Kennedy, and that's what he would do. The mic would come down. He'd be like,
"Oh yeah, he dropped the mic.
Let's get ready to rumble." So let's get ready to rumble. And by the way,
he sounds really good when he talks into the mic.
He does.
He has it right
that mic.
Yeah, shoves it in his mouth. Sounds sexy.
What's the Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy's name? He shops at my Whole Foods. I see him
Michael
all the
Buffer.
time. He does. He drives up. He's got a black Rolls Royce Phantom. He just drives.
Well, of course he does.
Of course he does.
He's got billions of dollars from saying one thing over and over.
Yep. Let's get ready to rumble. All right. So big news this week, or it is, I guess, out of nowhere. Where did this WildStar just drop this second content patch today? Listen, no, y'all, it's a sabotage. I can't get that in my head. I was gonna have it queued up, and I was like, YouTube won't like it if we cue that up. But
no.
What is this? Where did this come from? So WildStar just dropped this new content patch today called Sabotage. They got a dev speak. It's a new battleground. It's a 15v15.
We're not even technically 2 months in.
According to release,
still 3 days.
Did we know this was even happening, or did they just literally drop it?
You would have thought they intentionally would have spaced it out to give themselves, because they've got some cushion here. They just released new content, a huge patch. You would think, even if it's ready, we're going to give ourselves a couple of weeks, pillow, just to make sure we've got content within, a month and a half.
Nah.
But no, they just walked into work today. They said, "Oh, it's ready. Here, have it."
I think many people expected it kind of next week. That's what I expected. I thought next week, hey, we're going to get Sabotage content patch next week, because the previous one was like a couple days after a month had passed and stuff like that. So I was like, it's going to be a little bit late. No, they got it earlier. It hasn't even been a full month since the last one. Why not?
So what do we know about this? I'm looking at it. You got cores here and how they work, and it's got uplinks where you capture uplinks to call in airstrikes. What's going on with how does this map work? Do we know?
So, I mean, it's the whole PvP map. It's a big, huge open area, 15 versus 15 people. You get to use your mounts on the map, which is awesome in there. And the core objective of the game is to take these bombs, get them to the enemy base, and drop them there to explode. But on your way, the bombs can explode. They have a timer, so they can explode on you. You can go drop them in the middle of an enemy pack and run away and let it explode on them. As far as I understand, I haven't gotten to play it much. You can drop it on your teammates and let it explode on them. First thing I want to try.
It sounds like an amazing map. Actually, this sounds like a lot of fun.
If we can do that, it might be a YouTube video soon. But yeah, I mean, it's basically like, I think it's what people want more out of the PvP. That's sort of like, they can't do the 40 versus 40, but 15 versus 15, it's a bigger map. It feels a bit more open. And I think that just people really like that idea, and it seems a bit more fun than just, it's not about just guarding points anymore, like the other ones were all just so single focus objective, guard this point, and this is more expansive. Like, there's more tactics, there's more things you can do, there's more to it, and you can have fun with it a lot more.
I like this. This Sabotage is a new battleground match type coming to WildStar. By way of an all-new map.
In WildStar right now.
It is. It is right now.
Just log in, and there it is.
Sounds cool. In the Demolicious world of Sabotage, cooperation and communication are paramount. Holding objectives in the center of the map allows the controlling team to bombard enemy defenses with devastating frequency. But
yeah, those are the uplinks. They're located right in the middle of the map, and you fight over those, and you conquer those, and then you can call in airstrikes on your enemy's freaking base.
This sounds really super cool. I love their story in here. They show the map, the cores, this. And I love this. I love that they're also adding in like all these new achievements and gear. Like, check out all these achievements you can get in here. Fishing with dynamite. You've killed an enemy with a bomb detonation.
Do you know PvP is the one thing you can't get reputation from in that game? You need reputation to do all the PvE stuff, sure. But I would think that the war effort, killing the enemy faction, would gain you some kind of reputation for your faction, but it doesn't.
Well, especially considering how extended out that freaking system is to, like, get ready to do the in-game stuff. That reputation, it's, I mean, I don't want to use the word grind, but I'm going to use the word grind. Grind out the reputation and, sort of gear yourself get ready for the end game. It's a little surprising that there's not, multiple ways to do that, and that you can't do that in PvP, at least maybe to a lesser extent, but to some extent. Sort of that, a lot of game developers nowadays play the way you want. Well, not in this necessarily.
It's the content you want. When you gotta look ahead of time. If this is what I want to do, I gotta focus it. That's what it is. But
so let's tell me about the most important thing here: the rewards, the loot, the fat loots. What about the shinies? What about PvP gear? We got stat changes coming. We got gear. What do we got?
This is probably the most exciting thing for any of the PvP players: is the gear and stat changes. Before, PvP gear felt completely useless. If you were a healer, you didn't give a crap for any of the offensive stat. You just needed some defense, and you mostly just ignored it and went on PvE gear to have stronger power. But now they've reduced the way the stats work. They have defense is a direct counter to offense now. Offense doesn't really max out and disappear as fast as it did before. And the reason is they lowered the stats by 85%. They literally reduced the stat on the gear by 85% so that it didn't max out so fast. It didn't scale so ridiculously fast. And then in addition to that, they did make a couple more changes to where originally the 1500 gear and the 1800 gear required you to get all of it at once when you got to that rank. Now you can get little bits and pieces, like at 1250, at 1300, at 1350. You can get bits and pieces of it. So you don't have to wait until you get to the max, until you get to that rank to get it all at once.
So you can feel like you're getting more powerful as you progress. Is that's kind of what that's kind of aiming at?
Yeah, and it creates a little bit less discrepancy because you are getting matched up against sometimes people who have 1500 gear when you have 1200 and you're still using the basic lower end gear. So now you've got a couple pieces of it, so you're not as far behind stat-wise.
So, I mean, it might be a little too early to really tell the effects of these changes, but these are the changes that PvPers have really been looking for, right? I mean, there has been a few little gripes here and there where people are looking for some balance changes and things like that to get this on par. This is going to really help that, isn't it?
It's going to help, but the end question for a lot of people still is ranked play. Is ranked play so far screwed up after the first month that is it even fun now, or should they reset it? And that's still in some people's questions. The ranks, they didn't change anything.
Have they answered that at all? Have they talked about that? Is it a
They haven't
consideration?
said anything about. They haven't talked about anything about rankings and how and what they're looking at that or changing it. And right now, if you lose so much more than you gain for winning that it's a constant struggle to try to get up. Like you can fight 2 matches and then lose one, and you lost like 3/4 of the amount you had earned.
What about these boots?
Dim boots.
Them boots look pretty fat. What about these boots? How are these stack up pretty well for?
The boots are pretty cool. And any gear is pretty cool now because PvP turned on costumes. So now you can wear your costumes into PvP. Where whenever you set your costume up, and that's what you'll look like in PvP.
So you could look like a hobo. You could do the Pat Crane. You can go hobo.
Go in naked. If your outfit is if your outfit's naked, you can go in. Well, of course you have to wear the bra and undies or whatever, or pants. Boxers.
Go hobo. So what's next? What do we look for next? What's WildStar got coming up next month? Do we know what the big August stuff is?
I haven't seen anything. Have you? I mean, I don't know if you have Choi or not.
No, I haven't heard anything. Now, whether at the end of that DevSpeak video, is that a little teaser off to the side, or is that something we've seen before? The little eyeballs in the void or whatever that is.
Oh, I think it is. I think there is new content, at least with the story and stuff, maybe. I think that was a teaser at the end. I don't remember what it was.
Usually by now, at least we, the media, have heard a little something about what's coming. I haven't heard anything, but of course we didn't. Usually before they drop something like this, we get a heads up too, and we didn't know it was coming until it came. So. It was a surprise.
Yeah, we knew they were
everybody.
dropping something. What I remember earlier being kind of surprised by it. Like it just kind of came out of nowhere. I feel like the media drop of just releasing this thing kind of.
Okay, so that's the entity. That's the entity there at the end. What if it's another raid already?
It would make sense. I would be surprised if they did 2 PvP things in a row. I would, I would think that another PvE.
Yeah, it's not going to be
PvP.
PvP. It will be PvE, but they've already done. They did the entire zone, so this general PvE thing. So they did zone single player kind of questing stuff, what they did, and they did PvP. So I can definitely foresee something either with adventures or raids or a dungeon of some sorts probably appearing next.
We shall see. Tomorrow's August 1st, so it can't be too far off. We're going to see something like that. So,
and it could be coming at any time. Who knows at this point? They're like, it's ready. Here it is.
Now I'm all caught up watching the gameplay video. We're supposed to move on to the next story, but I'm just watching the gameplay video because it actually looks. These bombs look.
Of course, I've never been a big PvP guy, but this looks like freaking fun. All the different aspects of it, like Justin said, there's different strategies you can partake in. You can carry the bomb and blow up. It gave the impression that you can blow up anything you want to blow up. The uplinks, the bases, your allies, the enemies, yourself. It just looks like a ton of fun. It's almost a little bit like a reverse capture the flag. Pick up the bomb and take it to the enemy base to blow it up instead of grabbing the flag and trying to take it back to your base. But with the uplinks and stuff, I mean, as a non-PvP guy, I think I want to play this. I think I need to update and get in at some point tonight. So
I updated this morning. I'm ready to jump in after this.
Sounds good. All right, well, check it out and let us know how it is. Sabotage from the WildStar thing. All right, so next up this week, do you guys, I mean, we're all like old farts over here. You guys probably started PC gaming, man. You guys remember Elite? Old school Elite?
I do remember. I never played it. I had an Apple II GS when everybody else had a Commodore 64, so I didn't get to play Elite. But I was aware of his existence, and it was a pretty cutting freaking edge at the time.
Yeah, man. Elite was like the nerd shit. Like, this was the shit for nerds, man. This is like, you know what makes me really happy? That these like flight sim nerdy sci-fi games are like totally making a comeback. Like, this is like early 90s and 90s. Like, these were super popular, and then they all went away, and they just weren't cool to make anymore. Now, all of a sudden, it's like the cool thing now is to make a sci-fi flight sim.
Because, like, the death of fantasy. Fantasy's played out too much now. Sci-fi.
So much fantasy. And also, if you look, our generation is getting past the point where, they're the new devs who have to make whatever they're told, and, we're...
This is what they grew up on!
Those of us who played those games are getting into the management or becoming the decision makers, and we're like, you know what? When I was 12, this was awesome. Let's make it now.
Elite was my game. I played so much Elite. Elite was man, Elite was the pretty nerdy one. Right? I mean, Elite, from what I remember, was really intricate and granular. Like, there's a lot to it. So, Elite Dangerous is the next in the series. 400 billion star systems, infinite freedom, blaze your own trail. Graphics look really good. They launched a trailer with it, and you can get in beta. You can, of course, they're like the new model, pay to play, buy into beta. But basically, for $75, you can buy yourself into beta. You get the game. It's a little expensive.
Pay to test for us.
What do you guys think of this?
I've heard somebody say, I don't know how true this is, that when they actually get into beta, that price is going to jump. Because like something about this price started at $100 and it's now fallen to $75. Once beta officially launches, that it's going to fall to $50 to get in. Is anybody else?
Well, I think this is the beta. The beta has launched. I think it was $100 for the alpha.
Is that what it was?
I think it's $75 now for the.
I heard somebody talking about the price drops, and they mentioned something about it falling at some point from $75 to $50. Maybe it's when it goes live or something. I don't know.
Probably.
We're saying Freelancer's where it's at. Yeah, I mean Freelancer. That was Freelancer was a Chris Roberts game, which is now making Star Citizen, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's correct. But yeah, we're seeing all these online space games come out. You got Star Citizen in development. I did not know that this was this far along. I kind of wasn't really paying too much attention, and now the beta's
came out of nowhere.
I'm really intrigued now. I mean, is this something you think you guys would pick up? You guys into the flight sim? Is it a full-on MMO? I mean, what do we know about it? Because there's a solo play option to this game as well, right?
Yeah, it seems to. It almost sounds like it's the space flight game version of Destiny.
What?
Maybe.
What? You just sold me. What? Take my money? What?
I mean, multiplayer missions. I think you can run into people out there and stuff. I mean, because there's bounty hunting, pirating, and assassinations, and that's PvP. And part of the original thing they sold people on was PvP of this, flying a ship and fighting people. I think that was kind of like the first test of it. Was mostly just PvP systems and stuff. So it seems like it's a mix between that sandbox style play, but still instancing and stuff a bit to keep down server load.
Here, let's look at this section here. So this infinite freedom area section says, be a part of the action. Team up with others on missions or travel alone, exploring the expansive space, encountering fellow explorers on the way. Elite Dangerous offers endless choice in one massively multiplayer online experience. So I guess they're calling it an MMO. You can trade
400 billion procedurally generated star systems.
What?
That's the play.
That sounds ridiculous. That sounds huge.
It's 55 right now.
Yeah, but on the site they're saying there's going to be 400 billion procedurally generated star systems. At some point they show in the video, I think they show a map of the galaxy that they're in, and every one of those little star specks you see is supposed to eventually be a procedurally generated star system. They said that picture of the galaxy
is it completely procedurally generated? I think part of it's accurate, though. I think part of the galaxy is actually accurate to the Milky Way.
Is it?
And then I think they might procedurally generate like the meteors and stuff in there and things like that, possibly.
So the beta's out now. Like you said, there's 55 star systems covering 29,000 cubic light years. Initial online mission system functionality to be further developed. Player-to-player communication by text and voice. Friends management. Overview trading. Concept of fuel consumption, so sounds like it's going to be very simmy. Docking computers to assist with safe landings. So it does sound like it's going to be pretty granular and simmy. Obviously, it's beta, so you're not going to have all the little details in here. Graphics look pretty good. The trailer looks okay. Do you guys agree with me that I'm not completely blown away by the trailer?
I had to go watch. Yeah, I had to go watch some other people actually play the game to get a real feel for kind of what was going on. Because, like you said, the trailer was kind of okay.
Yeah, I want to actually see stuff of what you do. Like they talk about those 4 different things you can do, or whatever. Trade, whatever that means. I don't know what trade means. Bounty hunt, pirate, or assassinate. Like, put more of that in there and show off those few things to me, so I understand what's going on and how that works. Because
so
I want to assassinate people.
Are you able to live stream this? Are people live streaming this on Twitch?
I've seen a ton of YouTube videos.
NDA.
I haven't looked at Twitch.
Oh, really? So Beta's got an open Twitch thing?
Yeah, there are YouTube gameplay videos out there. I watched a few of those. It was pretty cool. One guy was talking about, I don't know if the Oculus Rift support's already coming with it or if they're talking about it, but this guy said, I just ordered an Oculus Rift because the way the game plays, you're actually sitting in the cockpit, and you're flying around in your starfighter, but to actually interact with the UI, you have to look around in the cockpit to look at the different areas to see the different gauges and stuff to interact with some of the UI elements. So this guy was like, oh man, this is going to be spectacular with the Oculus Rift. So, I mean, it's got some things going for it that people sound really excited about. And it's a sandbox. Everybody says they want a sandbox right now. So here once again, you're getting your chances to prove this is what you really want, players. If you really want a sandbox, they're starting to come out now.
I'm trying to find a channel playing it to see what's going on. I've seen some videos, but I don't see anybody actually playing the game right now. Maybe it's supposed to be going up and down. I don't know. I'm going to start searching for this. I don't know. Would you guys pick this up? You guys interested in this type of game? In the sandboxy flight simmy kind of thing? I still got such a ways off. I mean, you guys know I've been excited about Star Citizen for quite a while.
Yeah, and I paid for Star Citizen as well.
Yeah, but I'm kind of just in a holding pattern. I got scratching my itch. I'm just waiting. I'm like, oh, I can play this? Like, there's actually a game here to play? Like, I'm like, maybe I'll pick this up. But 75 is a little bit pricey. I got to kind of, I don't know.
I need to see some gameplay and see how much there's to do for 75. If there's enough for 75 to hold me over, then maybe. But otherwise, I need to wait till it probably drops.
Yeah, that's me. 75 is a little much for a game that just now has really caught my attention, but I am paying attention now, so I do want to check out more of it and sort of see sort of the nitty-gritty of what's available right now and what they say is coming. And I'm gonna pay attention. I don't think I'm ready to jump in $75 deep just yet, but I'm looking at you now, Elite Dangerous.
I'm trying to really determine what the MMO aspects of it are, like really kind of dig in and see if we can figure out how deep are those systems. It's kind of really hard to tell, like you said, from some of the limited information here on the site. I can't really tell how. There's a quick start guide here. Let's take a look at this and see if this can give us some
that's
info.
what I'm looking at right now.
So
you actually have to land at the starport, which seems like that's the main hub. The starport is side of it and stuff. You actually land on it. You can select missions and stuff there, trade and sell things. And then when you select your mission, you go back, get into your ship, and you got to take off and everything. You can get pulled into planets. You can go into hyperspace.
This could be an interesting one definitely for sci-fi sim nerds like me. And I like this game immersion. So it's got Oculus is on there, SciTech, the Thrustmaster stuff. So it looks like you're going to be able to grab your flight sim controls and utilize those things, which I'm so nerdy. I love that stuff.
Well, that's the kind of stuff that'll take a game like this to the next level, though. I mean, if you really want to make a big pop with a game like this, you include that kind of things, and all of a sudden people are like, I got my Oculus Rift on, I got my flight stick, man, I'm in this freaking ship.
So if this thing provides...
Stick the catheter in! I'm not leaving.
I think a lot of Star Citizen people are going to be looking at this game right now and possibly jumping over to it for at least the time being until Star Citizen provides what they can do and say they can do better. But this is like the Eve game that people want to be able to get out of their ship as well and walk around and feel a part of the world even more.
Well, that's my point. Like, I love watching what Star Citizen is doing, but I still know it's a ways off, and this kind of scratches my itch. If they can get some word out, and people, I feel like a lot of those people would probably really give this a good look at. I'm going to check it out, so... I don't know. I'll have to decide if 75 is going to be too much. They might get me for science. I might have to just jump in there so we can come back next week and talk about for science. Looks good. EliteDangerous.com is where you can go to check it out. And you can, like I said, you can purchase the beta now to actually get in. There's $75. Get you the game. So you do get the game, which... Unless the game sucks, at least you get the game, which is usually a $50 PC. So 75 gets you single player and multiplayer, which is out right now. All the beta development stages, and you get a digital copy of the game when it's released. Oh, look, you could buy ships for $350, cash shop, all that good stuff. Digital download is going to be $50 for the game. It looks like so.
Okay, so it's $50 for launch.
Okay,
yeah, so you're paying $25. So you're paying $25 to get into beta early. Merch. It's a cool shirt, actually. Old school Elite shirt. That's what Elite used to look like. It was just like asteroids, like lines.
Yeah, I was going to say, part of the UI in the ship where they have like little holographic images of like the space stations and your ship and stuff, it's the old school graphics from the old Elite games, the old wireframe models and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, man, they really are tugging at the heartstrings now. They really, really might do it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to spend your $75. I'm sorry.
Well, that's so brilliant because those are the people who are going to be really looking at this game. It's the old fogies, right? It's, if you're in like late 30s and 40s, like you played probably Elite if you're a nerd, and that's what you're going to be looking for. That's why I love this shirt. It's like, load new commander, yes or no? Yep. All right. I might be sold. All right, I'm going to talk about some Firefall, but first, really quick, I want to tell you guys about our great deal we got going on with the Audible, audible.com. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's audiobooks on tape, and we have a great deal to hook you up with a free 30-day trial and a free audio book just by going to audible.com/gamebreaker. That's the URL you're going to want to use. Head on over, sign up, make an account, download the app. You can put it on your iOS device, your Kindle, your iPad, your iPhone, whatever you got. Android, they got them all. They got an app for all that stuff. So you download it, put it on your phone, and you're going to get a free book. And what should we check out today? I got the World of Warcraft up. We got to get some new books. But War Crimes, it's the most recent World of Warcraft book. It's up there. It's a great one. I'm going to take a listen real quick. Let's take a listen.
It looks too peaceful and beautiful to be the prison of someone so horrible, Lady Jaina Proudmoore mused as she approached the Temple of the White Tiger. She, the Blue Dragon Calicos, Ranger General Verisa Windrunner, and King Varian Wrin rode in a cart drawn by a steady-footed yak, whose fluffy fur indicated the beast had been freshly bathed. In acknowledgement of the honored status of the passengers, the cart had been upholstered with silk cushions in vibrant shades, though the travelers did bounce a bit when a wheel hit a rut.
Warlords of Draenor is heating up, peeps, so no better time than right now to start brushing up on your World of Warcraft lore. No better way to do it than check out the books. So why read, kids, when you can have it read to you? Go to audible.com/gamebreaker, sign up today, and remember that by supporting our sponsor Audible, you directly support Game Breaker and the shows here. So thank you so much for Audible for being a long time sponsor for Game Breaker TV. All right, let's talk about some Firefall. We brought this up last week. Firefall launched on Tuesday. I guess first question, anybody check it out since launch?
Yeah, I've been playing a ton of it. I jumped in early access actually too, and played around a little bit. They've changed some things around. The overall gameplay pretty similar. They've made some changes for the good though. They're going the right direction with some things, and they're introducing new stuff. How long has it been since we got anything new in Firefall? I mean, there's tons of new content in it. So
let's not get crazy, Noob Fridge. Tell me first of all. Tell me what's going on in the game. What's available? Like, what can you actually do? What do you play? Like, how? And for those, a lot of people maybe have never didn't check out the last version, the beta, whatever you want to call it, the debacle. What do you want? Where are we at now? Like, what is there to do in Firefall? How would you describe it? What's available?
It's not really a sandbox, but you do have your option to roam around the world and pick up missions. They now have job boards, which are essentially going to a quest hub and picking up a mission, and it's multi-tiered, and it'll have 2 or 3 different objectives before you actually complete it and then turn it in to receive your rewards. Then they've got the same open world missions that they used to have, the Ares missions, where they just kind of spawn out in the world and you see them on your map and go out to them. And they've still got the dynamic events like the tornadoes and things like that that just sort of spawn in the world and create chaos. But they've got all the stuff you used to have. They've added a whole second new zone to go adventure in and do quests and thump and get your resources and all that. And so they're finally expanding it beyond that first zone where you just ran around, depending on what point of beta you played, where all you had to really do was run around, thump for resources, and do the same Ares missions dozens of times. Now there's mission boards, there's campaign missions, instances, all kinds of stuff to do now.
I always had felt that Firefall had something going on. I couldn't figure out what it was, but there was a nugget of like brilliance in there somewhere that they were like trying to polish and trying to just get that that shit stain off of it, and they were getting there, but I felt like it was in there, but we could never, like, there was a fun factor to the game, I think, yet the more you played it, you hit a point where you just sort of scratched your head and looked at your buddy and said, why are we doing this? Like, what do we do?
That's exactly how our group is. We always say it's always been that close to being like the game for us.
So does it feel like is there more of a sense of purpose now? Is there something leading you in a direction to do something?
They removed some of the confusion. Like the story missions are all like actually on a almost literally a menu. You open up a menu and here's the story. You do this next thing. Go here, and here's a list of places. Like all those places that we used to go. I think it was Antarctica or whatever. Those places that you had to suddenly someone had to tell you in game about that there was something to do, and you had to go find all the pieces, put it together, and then you could gain access to that location. That's now on a queue. It's literally like you go through a couple of the tutorial, and then sends you to this guy, and all of a sudden you load it up, and there's like a menu with all those different lower level places that used to be so difficult to find and you didn't even know about unless somebody told you. So they've really removed that difficulty, and I guess they kind of gave it a handicap of, yep, people couldn't figure this out last time. Let's shove it into their face a bit more.
Okay, but we're not talking like this has gone into like straight up questing PvE mode. I can't imagine the game.
No, I think it's more like straight up World of Warcraft. No,
I wouldn't call them dailies as much as, because you can still do all the old stuff of just going around the world. Oh, there's an Ares mission that I just found. I'll jump into this cave and go kill those things that happen to be up right now targeting the area. Or the raids on places, you still got to do that. But there are, as Choi said, there's the boards you can go pick up and get quests that might send you to a specific thing to go get something that's unique to you, and maybe is not a open world group thing for everybody. It won't be an instance; it'll still be in the open world, but nobody else is going to complete it before you get there because it was designed for you.
Troy, you played it back in the day, right?
Yeah, we played quite a bit of it.
All right, so you just jumped back into it. Does it feel different and fresh and new to you? Like, is there enough there now that you almost feel like this is what it should become, or does it still feel like it's trying to find its way and its purpose?
I think it's now finally found its way and its purpose, and I think they're heading in that direction now. That they may not be 100% there yet, but they finally found a direction for this game. The problem Firefly had before, there was just nothing, like you said, there was nothing to work to. I mean, you thumped and got resources, and you made better gear, and you powered up your battle frame. But at the end of the day, it was just one big cycle of just doing that. Now that they've introduced the new progression system, there are levels in the game now. You start each battle frame at level 1.
See, I think that's the easy way out. I think that progression system is the easy way out in this case. I think they ran out of time, they didn't know what to do, and they felt like that, and they're like, okay, let's add levels into the game now. Now the zones have levels. Your character has a level. You get downgraded if you're in a lower zone, for sure. So that it's still decently difficult for you, but it suddenly has that full feeling of no longer go anywhere at whatever level. If you're a lower level, you're not going to that higher area at all because you're not going to survive now because your level and your gear can't match that anymore. So I think they really threw that in, and they lost a lot of that, from my perspective, that core sandbox feeling of play the game anywhere that they had, and now they've got more of a linear progression in a sense of levels of where you can be or where you should be. And I don't like that they did that, but they didn't do it so bad that it's so obvious, at least.
I would also argue that the old system, yes, introducing levels could very well have just been the easy way out, but the old system, much like you were talking about with the questing and finding zones and stuff like that, a lot of that progression system and the way that stuff worked was also complicated just for the sake of being complicated. I mean, it had a cool theme, it looked cool when you opened up your battle garage, but at the end of the day, it was just complicated for the sake of being complicated. There was no real reason for it to be that freaking hard to understand, balancing the CPU power and the frame and all that, and then the dozens of different sort of things you had to equip for jump jets and things like that. It's simplified. And some people are going to call that dumbed down. I don't think it's quite dumbed down, but it is very much simplified and streamlined, and it's going to be easier for more people to get and understand, which means more people are going to be interested in playing your game, and it plays a little more like other games that they're used to. That could mean more people.
It made it a little less niche, I guess. It made it a little more open to a larger crowd.
Yes.
So, I mean, this game's been in development for a long time. Went to closed beta something like 2011. Then they did open beta 2013. It's still been going on since then. So, I'm still struggling to know, like, I mean, is there another title that you guys would I hate comparing games, but I'm trying to really wrap my head around, like, okay, what has Firefall really done here that is different? I mean, I remember just running around that first huge map, and once you kind of, like I said, just go into that cycle of thumping and doing the things that you're going to do, like, where else are you going? Is it just so they opened up new areas and there's more progression and you can kind of just, like, explore a lot more of the land that you once were never able to actually see?
Yeah, you're leveling up to be able to go to new areas of the map. There's a whole new zone after you hit like level 25 that hasn't been in the game up until just a few weeks ago. You go into there, and then at the end of the day, the goal is just like a whole lot of other games. You get to level 40. I think you can actually start at level 37, but there's an in-game zone full of in-game type content. We're working. I think we've already pushed back the melding, and there's going to be raids and stuff in that big 20-man raids where you go in and shoot big baddies and stuff like that. So there's something to work toward. There's something there at the end. Some games have tried to do it otherwise, but at the end of the day, it seems like that works more often than not, something at the end to work towards. And so there's something at the end now to level up, get your frame to level 40, get your gear, go participate in this raid and see all this stuff in this zone that's specifically set aside for, the max level player.
All right, so one thing that really drew me into Firefall early on was some of the ideas that they were trying to do with PvP. Again, that changed a lot. Dramatically.
It's still
from like open world PvP, then they had no PvP, then they opened up PvP in that zone area, then all of a sudden they decided to make the game completely PvE. So what's the deal now? Is there open world PvP?
I want to say there's one in the beginning, in the first zone. There's one location you can go to, and off to the side behind it, there's an old arena that used to be there.
Yeah.
And if you sit in there, it activates open world PvP. Now I have sat there for an hour or two, asking people in chat, "Come challenge me." Everyone avoids it.
What?
It's like, come in to this zone so I can shoot you. I just I'm looking for somebody to fly by, not realizing what they're doing.
And no one wants the PvP. So the Firefall community does not want PvP. That's amazing. I really would have thought they would have been the opposite community. I thought
the only people I've fought in that zone were people I was in a group with, and we had missions that took us through there.
And
we wound up killing each other because it's funny.
Now there is a open world zone now.
Zone.
Kind of fusing. Open world zone, which you can go to. And when I heard it, I thought, yes, they finally did it. Like, okay, they put it in a zone, cool. Because they kept saying, fight for your army. And of course, we knew army in the game was the guild system, was the idea. No. There's 3 armies in this zone. You get put on one of those armies.
What?
And you all fight, it's 3-faction PvP.
It's a poor man's 3-faction PvP.
But I don't think you don't choose the faction either. I think you just kind of get thrown into the faction. Here's the one you're going to fight for right now and get resources and stuff like that. I haven't even bothered with it because it's just kind of, I really got depressing as soon as I heard it didn't deal with your actual guild and stuff. It was just like
much disappointment, such confusion. So basically, what you're telling me is, for people who are interested in PvP,
this isn't your game.
And their instance PvP is still not back. I even asked them on Twitter. I said, "When is Jetball coming back?" And they said they like Jetball, but they're worried about launch. Well, your game's launched now. Let's work on Jetball. I want it back.
All right. So confusion. What about story missions? Are there instance queues? What I'm hearing for story missions?
Yeah, and these they are a story, and you have to do each one in order, and it's sort of a campaign, and it tells a story along all 8 of them. Essentially, gameplay-wise, what they're filling in for is they're scalable instance dungeons. Essentially, you can go in solo up to 5 players. The instance will scale a little bit, the amount of enemies and difficulty depending on how many you've got. And you can basically, as long as you're the proper level to do them the first time around, you can queue up, jump in, and do those. And then once you're max level, and there again, I think by max level they mean like 37. I think you started at 37. Just like other dungeons and other MMOs, there is a hardcore mode that you can go in and get better rewards for more challenge.
I'm somewhat intrigued. It's interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back in and try it out. I enjoyed the combat. I enjoyed the way it played. How about raids? They doing raids?
Yeah, he said 20-man raids at the end.
Yeah, there's a 20-man raid. Haven't seen it. Haven't done it. Don't know a whole lot about it right now. I think the melding just got pushed back last night. I think it was at like 94% last night. So.
So we got to do the one thing, Gary, where we gather those materials and we had to activate the lasers and push back the melding. I guess you have to do that at the end game.
Yeah, like the in-game zone is kind of like that. There was only a certain area you could explore, and to see more of it, the community has to push back the melding to see more and more of it.
See,
interesting, because that was stuff that you had to do like really early on. Half the audience is just like, "What are they talking about? Melding, pushing back." There was,
like that was part of questing at one point.
Most people at testing had no idea, because I remember we got in, everyone were in, even with people who knew the game, we're all like, "What are these things sitting out here?" And we figured out their name. And then when you through all the items, there was an item with a similar name, so we crafted it, activated it. All of a sudden, the melding's getting pushed back. We're like, holy crap.
It had some interesting systems. I don't know. It's a free-to-play game, right? It's completely free-to-play, correct? So,
yeah. So, download it and try it. If you have fun, great. If you don't, just uninstall it.
I would say definitely give it a shot if you guys haven't tried it. I played a bunch of it. Troy's liking it again. I'm going to jump into it. So check it out. It's called Firefall. Yeah, it's finally launched. It's here. I'm going to talk about another fire game. Fire games. We got Firefly to talk about. But really quick, if you guys are thinking about checking it out, you guys know about The Crew? The MMORPG coming out? Due term. I'm excited for this one. I wasn't super pumped about this one, and I started watching a bunch of Twitch streamers. I'm kind of excited. Do you guys like car racing games? I'm a car racing game dude.
It looks so sexy. It looks sexy.
I played it a lot as a kid. I played them a lot on consoles as a kid and stuff, and I hadn't played them for years, but this just looks awesome across the entire country.
It's an MMO with cars, car racing across the entire United States, and I don't think you can go to Canada. I think it's mostly the U.S., but
yeah.
I mean, not every single city's built out, but I don't know. I was watching a bunch of Twitch streams and got really, really intrigued by it. I'm definitely picking this one up. I'm definitely going to check this one out. And we've got 20% off on your pre-order. All you got to do is go to gboffer.com/thecrew, and we save you 20% instantly. I already pre-ordered mine. I got mine ready and waiting. So it looks really cool. I mean, it's a car driving MMO, which we don't get many of at all. So I would highly recommend checking it out. Check it out.
Your car is your character. Customize it the way you want.
Oh my God, the customization on the car is ridiculous. It's ridiculous how much you can customize your cars. I was watching them pull bumpers off and like change everything, and I was like, what? All right, Firefly. People like this show. Apparently, it's a television show. Heard about it, never watched it. Kidding.
Yeah. I think maybe we've heard of this a little bit now and then.
So the Firefly Online is coming out. This is a Unity-based game, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it is because it's on PC and mobile.
Yeah, it always happens.
So they probably hit export.
This video's got a lot of views, man. But I gotta say, I thought
Firefly. People are just you say that name, and people are just like, "Oh yeah, let me check it out."
I mean, the graphics don't look all that hot.
Would be the best
and
in the verse.
Personally,
if nothing else, it's a period piece because the game looks like it came out in the year that Firefly was on freaking
exactly. TV. That's what I was gonna say.
That's all right. I didn't steal your joke.
I think it has something to do with the mobile part and Unity and development team. I wonder if each of these people in the video are just developers.
I was wondering if they were just paid to say what they were going to say reading off the cue cards, because that's what I was going to say is like this trailer has over 1 million views that people are watching it, but holy crap, corny, ridiculous trailer that I couldn't watch more than 20 seconds of. People started talking, and I was just like, what? Totally zoned out.
Did you see the end of it?
Yeah, you got to go to the end.
I didn't get that far.
Just skip to the last few seconds.
Yeah, just go to the last.
Hang on, let's just watch the rest of it now.
If I was a captain.
If I was a captain,
compare it to Nerdgasm.
Travel the bus.
I'd keep my crew together.
I would do whatever it takes to stay flying.
Here it comes.
Me? I'd aim to misbehave.
Oh, yeah.
But that's just me talking.
The whole trailer was
That's
for
what he's
that
in.
part. That's
Yep,
the whole thing. I think that's the whole reason they designed the trailer.
Just so they could have a reason to put that in something.
We got to do something else. These
We
few
need to put
seconds.
Nathan into Venice somehow to sell units. All right, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not.
So apparently Nathan Fillion and the entire, but the original cast for the main characters will do the voicing for the main characters in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, if you notice the narrator at the very beginning, you may recognize that voice too.
It's
Are you guys
fun.
excited for this?
No, you take away the name Firefly off
Okay.
of that, and there's
Yeah.
nothing here.
I was confused. I had to stop for a second. Just be
It's-
like, are you guys
it's
really
a
like
difference.
super psyched about this? Because
No, there's nothing here.
This
besides
is
the-
one of those games that goes in the records book of shouldn't have been created, and you destroyed the franchise even more.
they have been trying to make a Firefly like some sort of online MMO thing for so long now. It's just been so hard. For, I guess probably mostly to do with the licensing. What is a multi-user strategic role-playing game anyway? Like what is that? That's what they're calling it. Like
Oh God, it just gets better, doesn't it?
call it something new. Call it a multi-user
Yeah.
strategic role-playing game. Nobody will understand it.
If
It'd
we
be
call it
perfect.
an MMO, people are going to compare us to MMOs, and they're going to realize that this
It's
is
not an MMO.
crap.
Well, maybe they want to call it massively, so they're like multi-user, because maybe you only ever play with like a couple people. Because that's all it's going to buy the game.
Multi-user, yeah, it's got three people play this game.
Multiple
Congratulations.
users.
Multi-user.
All right, last up this week.
Strategy
This came out of nowhere. Neverwinter coming to the Xbox One in China this fall and worldwide somewhere in the first half of 2015. Did we know this was even going to happen? I feel like this story just plopped out of the sky this week.
Am I
didn't know the-
surprised
didn't
this
know
is
the game
happening?
would fill up.
Yeah, am I surprised this is happening? No. Was I surprised that it's happening without us hearing little tweaks about it before it happened? Yes. The news that it's actually happening came out of freaking nowhere. This is the surprise edition of TWIMMO, apparently.
Really is. So all the races, all the classes, same maps as what we're used to on the PC side. The only we don't have many details. China does get it first. We do know there's going to be staggered content for release for consoles. And then
I wonder if
you're
they're
gonna
going to charge for that. Next content, $10.
Oh, wow.
Well, they have to charge in some way, right? I mean, it's a free-to-play game. It's got to be cash app and everything else.
Oh,
No
yeah,
cross-
trust
no
me,
cross
they
play,
get you in the
right?
cash
No
out. Don't you
surprise
worry about that, sir.
No crossplay between the Xbone and the
No.
PC.
I don't,
Okay.
I don't think at
Xbox
this
will
point,
never
I don't think it's a huge deal if that ever is crossplay between platforms like that at this point.
Yeah.
So
Never gonna happen. And then we do know there is a new PC expansion coming out, right?
yeah, Tyranny
August
of Dragons. That's a big deal across all of D&D, like the Tyranny of Dragons this summer, the new rule set update or whatever. The only thing I haven't seen so far affected by Tyranny of Dragons and getting something new with Tyranny of Dragons is DDO. Somehow they seem to have got left out of the party, so I don't know what's going on there. But everything else, card games, the role-playing game, Neverwinter, this Tyranny of Dragons is the big summer push from WizKids.
Also, it's not just an expansion for the game; it's also an expansion for the tabletop.
Yeah, the Tyranny of Dragons is sort of an overarching campaign for this summer, like I guess sort of a publicity campaign where everything D&D related is sort of getting something. There's like new rule sets, new adventures, things like that. There's like trading card games and stuff that are getting expansions. So I don't know that like the expansion that's going to happen in Neverwinter is exactly the same story that's happening everywhere else, but it's just a big overall D&D push this year with the Tyranny of Dragons thing. So this is Neverwinter's version of Tyranny of Dragons, and they're introducing dragon. What do they call them? The dragon people class.
The Dragon
They
People
actually call them
class.
Dragonborn. I think they actually call them Dragonborn.
They're
But
called
not
the
like
Dragon
standard
People class.
Dragonborn. Dragon People class. You know.
Is it gonna bring it
Yeah,
back?
Dragon-
I know Troy, you played a bunch of this game when it came out.
Yeah, I have fun jumping in and out of it. I mean, a lot of people hate on Neverwinter. It's not a big, you're going to spend all your time in this game, but I enjoy jumping in and out when there's something new to do. I'm not, however, paying $75 for your new playable race.
Is the mission crafting coming to the console version?
See, I haven't heard that. I'm curious about that too, whether or not the Foundry system is going to be on console, because that, I don't know, the way some of those tools work, it doesn't seem like they would necessarily easily transfer to console. I'm not going to say that they won't, but it doesn't seem like it would be the easiest of transitions. But I haven't heard them say yes or no on the Foundry stuff. Whether or not Foundry content, whether you can play stuff that's been made, is another question. But having the tools to create your own stuff on console, I don't know. I haven't heard yet. I would be interested to see what they say about that.
This 75. Would you say $75?
$75, and that's on sale too, by the way.
What?
To get the new class?
That's a pre-order sale. Oh, it's not a new class. It's a playable race.
Is that for the expansion? Is that the Tyranny of Dragons expansion for $75?
No, the content's free. The campaign and the content is free. This is the playable race, like some gear and like a bag. This is the biggest problem with Perfect World overall. I mean, if we want to complain about some cash shops, they overprice everything. I mean, everything is just god-awfully priced. This is on sale, pre-order, $75 for a playable race and a couple of little in-game items. No, thank you. I'll keep my money. I'll give my $75 to Elite Dangerous before I pay you for Dragon.
Unlock a race for me. Play an entire space game.
I can get this entire game, or I can get this dragon dude that's going to run the same content I've run like on 4 different classes already.
You can probably go buy 3 different RPGs on Steam for that price.
There you go. There you go. Justin Kennedy, follow him on. Why do you hear my voice there? Justin Kennedy. Justin Kennedy. Justin Kennedy, follow him on Twitter. JKK Kennedy TV. My balls haven't dropped yet. Just follow me. Troy Blackburn, follow him on the Twitter at NoobFridge and check out all his work on
Check out next week to see if his mic placement's any better.
Oh, snap.
Just get it closer and closer.
Just show up to pre-show. We're going to have microphone placement techniques. Next, I'll start teaching you breathing techniques.
We're just going to start attaching. Like, I'm going to put like something around my neck to hold the mic just there.
Get like a harmonica thing.
The
mic collar.
Like the harmonica thing.
Follow me, Gary, again, and follow Gamebreaker TV, Gamebreaker TV. Don't forget to go over to gamebreaker.tv/deals. And if you guys make YouTube videos or you live stream, go over to gamebreakermedia.com. I should have talked about that earlier in the show, because most of you have all tuned out already. It's late this in the show. They hear that music going. They're like, all right, I'm out. Stop. You missed it.
You're going to turn this off now.
Go to GameBreakerMedia.com. It is a brand new initiative that we have pushed out, and we help you monetize your live stream and your YouTube videos. Go. Sign up today. It is completely 100% free, and we bring you awesome digital games and other deals that you can offer your fans and viewers on your videos and your live stream, just like The Crew. That is actually in there for you if you're part of GBM. You can actually offer The Crew to your fans and viewers in your videos and live stream, and you make some money. So go over GameBreakerMedia.com. All right, gang. See you next week for some more TWIMMO.